Part 47. After the divorce, the ex-wife became a creditor. Author, Ahuan. Chapter 463. Han Qian told Tong Yao about biting the hand. Unexpectedly, this guy actually brought this thing with him. Han Qian took Tong Yao and hid it behind him. He raised his hands and Han Qian spoke calmly. The first time I attended a party in my life, I met Feng Lun. I participated in the Mid-Autumn Festival massacre and used a gun. The second time I attended a party, I met you and I also used a gun. Today is my third time attending a party. You said I would unprepared. The dark clouds in the night sky dispersed, and with the light shining down from the villa on the mountain, the outline of the cannon could be vaguely seen. The pistol in his hand was pointed at Han Qian. Han Qian patted the dust on his butt and said again. Or do you think I have no suspects? The first time Wei Tiancheng was also at the Mid-Autumn Festival party, and things broke out after he left. The second time he tried his best to get me to attend Lin Men's birthday party, even threatening me with Jijing, and this time something that should have nothing to do with Shuncheng. Lu Guangming generously provided the venue, and he has a mature relationship with Wei Tian. This guy has the shamelessness to attend the celebration banquet of glory and enjoyment. This is very strange. You should think, am I stupid? Now the number of people who want me dead is no less than the number of people who want me alive. Do you really think I am defenseless? Han Qian pushed Tong Yao's lower abdomen with one hand, signaling her to back away. Tong Yao stepped back step by step, and Go De Peo roared lowly when he saw this. Han Qian, you forced me to shoot. You think you're the only one with a gun. As soon as he finished speaking, a black May 4th pistol appeared in Han Qian's hand. Would Cai Qinghu have no time to accompany Wu Qingxi? Instead, he stood at the gate of the villa and waited for Han Qian. Would she not know about the partnership between Yates and Han Qian? There were many people organizing Han Qian's clothes, and they were brought by Wu Siquan. Wu Siquan helped Cai Qinghu win back Han Qian. Now she would let the women around her get close to Han Qian? Wu Siquan is a smart woman, she knows how to maximize her own interests. The first thing to do is to please the women around Han Qian. Cai Qinghu understood everything, but why did she seem so excited and angry? In the end, Yan Qingqing was not used to help Han Qian sort out his clothes. Because her gun is in Han Qian's hand. Han Qian had already made preparations when he knew Wei Tiancheng would appear at tonight's party. Why did he let the important people around him stay at the resort and not allow them to leave? Why did he keep asking about the location of Jijing and Yushasai? Nothing was accidental, he knew something would happen tonight. I didn't want her to leave the villa when I chased Tong Yao, but I didn't expect that I couldn't catch up with her after chasing her so far, which led to Go De Peo seizing the opportunity. It was an accident and also expected. I didn't hold a gun because I was worried about scaring this guy. Mentioning Feng Lun, Lu Shenga, and Kui Li wanted to distract Go De Peo and let Tong Yao bite his hand to escape. He had expected that there would be danger, but he had not expected that he would encounter Tanjeo. He had expected that Tanjeo would be able to escape, but he had not expected that this guy had a gun. The sound of the gun being loaded sounded clear in the quiet night. Han Qian looked at Go De Peo and said calmly. If you shoot, you will be exposed. It's okay for me to shoot. Cai Qinghu wants to kill you. Cheng Jin and Li Jinhai will do their best to protect me. Or can you kill me? If I die, you will get nothing. Wei Tiancheng will find the second Guda Pao and kill you, the person who knows everything, to silence you. This Guda Pao is not a tough guy, he is not as good as Feng Lun's calculations, nor can he compare with Toad's blood. He is just a little guy, relying on his shamelessness and lack of lower limits to make people fear him. The child monster didn't look like the idiot in the TV series who said, I won't leave, I won't leave. Moreover, he bent over and ran backwards quickly, hooked the cannon and roared in anger. You bitch, You think I don't dare to shoot? Han Qian took a step across, blocking the muzzle of the cannon, and said coldly. Try. Gouda Cannon didn't dare to shoot, and Han Qian didn't dare to shoot either. He was not made of stone. If Go Cannon couldn't be killed with one shot, he would definitely be shot at this distance. It's not worth fighting against such a bastard, but Han Qian really didn't want to let go. Whether it's to give Cai Qinghu an explanation or to take revenge on Tong Yao, it can be regarded as solving a problem for oneself. Seeing Tong Yao disappear, Go Depeo put away his gun and sighed. Han Qian, when we meet again next time, it's when you kneel down and beg me. I don't understand why you are so arrogant when you have nothing. As he spoke, Go Depeo retreated step by step, and Han Qian replied in a low voice. Do you think you can run away tonight? Han Qian, Kui Li is not here tonight. No one will take the blame for you. If you dare to shoot, someone will catch you and not let go. Cheng Jin will also be implicated by you. Do you think I am stupid? Go Depeo was still retreating. When Han Qian was distracted, Go Depeo seized the opportunity, bent down and ran down the hillside, laughing loudly. Han Qian, I can't kill you this time, but I can kill that little girl in Cai Qinghu. My father's debt will be repaid. I'll have fun with her and sell her to a brothel, and it will be fun for my brothers who are beggars. Hook Cannon, you are seeking death. Han Qian was furious and rushed forward to pull the trigger on the cannon that had already run far away. Boom! 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 Han Qian fired 2 shots in a row, and the last shot was Gouda Pao's counterattack. 3 gunshots broke through the silent night, and the lights of the villa instantly increased to a new brightness. The sound of tires rubbing against the ground came from the road, as well as sirens, and then the sirens of police cars sounded. But at this time, Han Qian was still chasing Go Cannon, and this guy must have been injured. At this time, the road outside the mountain was overcrowded. Li Jinhai took the lead and rushed into the mountain. Not long after, 2 gunshots were heard in the mountain. Go Cannon fled into the mountains. Han Qian collapsed on the ground holding a pistol in one hand and holding his knee with one hand. In order to avoid the bullets from Go Cannon, his knee accidentally hit the protrusion of the stone. The excruciating pain made him fall. Fired a shot into the sky when he fell, telling people outside that he was here. Just as Han Qian was about to take a rest, a black shadow rushed over, with a furry body and a long tongue across his face. Han Qian did not panic. He threw down the pistol in his hand and hugged the police dog in his arms and shouted loudly. I'm bleeding. Take this guy away quickly. Gouda Pao has a gun in his hand and ran into the mountains. Please pay attention to your safety. After shouting, Li Jinhai appeared alone in front of Han Qian, stretched out his hand to pull away the police dog on him, looked down at the pistol on the ground, walked up and bent down to pick it up, and whispered. Who? Han Qian closed his eyes and whispered softly. Cai Qinghu, I will take all charges. Before he finished speaking, Li Jinhai spoke in a deep voice to the intercom on his shoulder. Go Depeo stole team leader Cai's gun. The gun has been found. Be careful about the other gun in his hand. Order the city bureau to reinforce and surround Shuncheng Resort. Don't let any flies go. Han Qian leaned against the big tree and smiled at Li Jinhai. Second uncle wants to protect me. Just telling the truth. But being looked at by another pair of eyes. The dog can't talk. How's the injury? Was he shot? No, I probably hurt my knee. This leg hurts so much. I hit the cannon. I'm not sure where it was, but it's definitely not the leg. Li Jinhai held the police dog with one hand, helped Han Qian up with the other, and whispered instructions in his ear. Remember, Go Depeo's gunshot wound was an injury he suffered during the fight with the police. It has nothing to do with you. You didn't fire a shot tonight. This gun was accidentally lost by Go Daepeo when he heard the police siren and fled. Pick it up. Han Qian whispered. Can it be done? Li Jinhai nodded. There's no surveillance, so I just say yes. After the divorce, the ex-wife became a creditor. Author, Ahuan. Chapter 464. He was not caught and ran away. This is something that Han Qian and Li Jinhai never expected. Han Qian was sitting on the stone at the entrance of the resort, his face as gloomy as a pool of stagnant water. Go Daepeo hijacked a young policeman, robbed a police car and escaped. All of this happened reasonably. Han Qian could accept that the police were human beings and they had the right to be afraid, let alone a young man in his 20s who had just graduated. What Han Qian couldn't accept was that the monitoring of this section of the road was completely paralyzed. This humming made it clear that there was a mole in front of the yamen, and there was a plan to hook up tonight. Li Jinhai came over, and Han Qian sighed and spoke first. I can understand. Cheng Jin has reminded me of this a long time ago. What I didn't expect was that the guys behind Guda Pao had such big wrists. Li Jinhai gritted his teeth with a gloomy face. I'm going to adjust the surveillance. 3 of my men are injured. Han Qian sighed and said again. It's useless, someone will take the blame, just like Feng's Haida committed suicide, and we don't know when the surveillance was broken. Where is Wei Tiancheng? This question was asked by the frightened Lu Guangming. The old guy stood bent in front of Han Qian and said softly with a strange expression. Old Wei left early. Mr. Han, are you looking for him? I will bring him to you personally. Han Qian curled his lips and sneered. What? Are you going to have some fresh air? Lu Guangming, you don't know about the grudge between me and Go Daepeo, right? Are you providing us with a party venue for enjoyment and glory tonight? When did you become so humming-kind? Yes, yes, what Master Han taught me is that this incident is my fault. The surveillance below is broken, but the surveillance in my villa is intact. I will immediately send someone to find out when this Guda Pao got in. Han Qian was too lazy to talk to Lu Guangming. He closed his eyes and sighed, then stood up and pointed at the nursery rhyme and cursed angrily. Run, 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 did you see me running away? How can I humming feed you? It's just between the two of us. Yes. I just don't want to pay you back. You want money when you see me, Han Qian. The nursery rhyme sang loudly, then lowered its head and whispered. Han Qian, I was wrong, I'm sorry. Nursery rhyme subdued. This was something Han Qian didn't expect. He also understood the idea of nursery rhyme. She didn't want Wen Nuan and Yu Shisai to know what happened between her and Han Qian. Han Qian pointed at the nursery rhyme angrily and didn't say a word after pointing for a long time. At this time Lu Guangming whispered. Master Han, do you need to go to the hospital for your leg? Han Qian jumped up high and said angrily after landing. You, I just knocked down. Otherwise, can Guda Pao go into the mountain alive? I would have killed him a long time ago. Now I suspect that Wei Tiancheng brought this guy in. You should stay away from Wei Tiancheng in the future. We two are not even friends. Lu Guangming scratched his head in embarrassment. Ji Jing and Yu Shisai were standing not far away, folding their hands in front of them and hunching their heads to admit their mistakes. Now Han Qian didn't bother to pay attention to these two idiots, and he didn't even bother to teach them a lesson. Han Qian was about to be furious. He just let his grandson run away right before his eyes. You are more angry with yourself, are you trash? If you didn't catch this guy so close, what would you do if you were shot? It's not like he hasn't taken a bullet. This was after the fact, and Han Qian was also scared at the time. Slowly, a gloating greeting came from the crowd. Where is Mad Dog Man Han? Is he still alive? Mr. Lin is very worried. Han Qian was worried that no one would vent his anger, So someone would hit the gun on his own? Han Qian rushed towards Li Jinhai and said angrily. Where's the gun? Where's the gun that was snatched away by Gu Dapao? Lin, you bastard, I'm going to humming kill you right now. The scene was chaotic. When Nuan and Yan Qingqing rushed forward to stop Han Qian, Li Jinhai took out the handcuffs and pulled Han Qian's hands up. From the beginning to the end, Lin Zongheng did not come out of the crowd. He was really worried about this mad dog really shot him. The reason why Han Qian grabbed the gun was because he wanted to return it to Cai Qinghu. He didn't want to make the mistake of leaving the gun on Cai Qinghu's back, as Li Jinhai said. Unfortunately, he failed. Just when Han Qian was furious, another roar came from the crowd. Lin mad dog. Han Qian didn't even think about it and cursed. Eunuch Lu, are you humming here to join in the fun? One mouth is called Bastard Lin, the other is Eunuch Lu. Han Qian has completely declared his status in the city here tonight. The top leaders of the two largest companies are not taken seriously by him, and they found that these two arrogant people he didn't take Han Qian's insults seriously at all. It seemed like it wasn't the first time. Lu Shenge walked out of the crowd, stepped forward, pushed Yan Qingqing away, grabbed Han Qian's collar, and roared with scarlet eyes. I asked you about hooking up with the cannon. Click. Han Qian put the other half of the handcuff on Lu Shenge's wrist and roared coldly. What the hell are you asking? If that brother of yours can hold on for a while, can Go De Peo seize the opportunity tonight? Go De Peo said that he would pull your brother into the woods and beat him up. What? Beat him to death? Lu Shenge grabbed Han Qian's collar and growled. If something happens to my brother, I won't let Go De Peo go, and I won't let you go either. Han Qian frowned, slapped Lu Shenge's claws off, and said with a frown. Why don't you blame that bastard Lin? Go De Peo shot me and hit your brother. Damn, Lin Zongheng is fine at all. Why don't you use your brain? After saying that, Lu Shenge turned around and went to find Lin Zongheng. He also lost his mind at this moment. Lu Shengui was sent to the hospital and lost 2 front teeth. What hatred could cause such a heavy hand? But then he realized that Han Qian's wrists were handcuffed together. Lu Shenge raised his leg and kicked Han Qian. He missed, but was knocked to the ground by Han Qian's diamond pen. Lu Shenge touched the ground. Then he hit Han Qian. The scene was chaotic again. Han Qian and Lu Shenge didn't care whether Lu Shenge lived or died, and Han Qian didn't care whether Lu Shengyu lived or died. But both of them want to find Gu Dapao. This guy has to die. Han Qian returned to the resort and turned on the shower head to wash away the muddy water on his body. Han Qian was wearing a pair of swimming trunks. The bathroom door was open. Several women stood outside the door and looked at Han Qian. Han Qian was a little annoyed and shouted to nursery rhymes. Come in. Wipe my back, run, 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 what the hell do you want me to run fast? Tong Yao took a step back and hid behind Nuan, and then Ji Jing spoke. Eldest nephew, let me do it. Why are you here? I don't know what you are thinking. You, Tong Yao, and I have all told you to pay attention to safety. Why do you two live together? Am I just letting you get closer, or do I want you to save money on rent? Tong Yao, hurry up and don't force me to go out and catch you. I won't go. It's unclear whether men and women can accept each other. You're not kissing me, right? Pay back the money, pay it back now, everything's easy, just rub your back. I'll get a discount of 10,000 per rub, and I blocked my phone number. You're really good at playing. Tong Yao walked into the bathroom. As soon as she picked up the bath towel, she took a breath of air conditioning. She couldn't stand the warmth anymore. She walked into the bathroom and took the bath towel from Tong Yao's hand and said, slightly dissatisfied. What are you doing? Yao Yao's hand has just been smeared with medicine, let me rub it for you. After wiping it, I will give you 10,000 yuan as repayment for Yao Yao. Han Qian didn't speak. He straightened his waist and waited for Nuan to rub his back. Nuan said while rubbing his back. Yao Yao, you too, isn't it just 110,000? Why are you borrowing it from Han Qian, a stingy guy? I'll wipe Han Qian's back 11 times and the debt will be forgiven. After Nuan finished speaking, Cai King Hu spoke. How about 5,000 at a time? I'll pay back the money for teacher Tong, maid. Nuan, please pass me the bath towel. Yan Qingqing said immediately. 5,000? Then I can do it too, come on, you both get out of the way, I come. Ji Jing whispered. Actually, I'm cheap, even 200 times. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the divorce, the ex-wife became a creditor. Author, A Huan. Chapter 465. Han Qian changed his underwear. Fortunately, Cai King Hu had prepared this in his car. This almost led to a war. Han Qian changed his clothes and went downstairs first, telling Cai King Hu when he left. Secretary Xiao Cai, you and I will go downstairs and prepare to deal with Cheng Jin. Well, you guys should go to bed early. Monster Tong, please wait for my call at any time. Cai King Hu intertwined his fingers and placed them beside his cheek, raised one leg and said in a coquettish voice with a look on his face. Okay, sir. Tong Monster asked with a frown. Why should I wait for your call? Han Qian glared at the nursery rhyme and gritted his teeth. Pay back the money. The nursery rhyme that had just stirred up the desire to fight was like a deflated rubber ball, whispering not to be too late. The creditor is the uncle. Han Qian understood it deeply. When he went downstairs, he glanced at Wen Nuan and frowned. You are not allowed to pay back the money for Tong Yu. Otherwise we will have a quarrel. Nuan snorted, turned, and left. Han Qian was not injured for the first time when he encountered danger, which made several women very satisfied. This guy finally knew that he had to worry about his own safety. On the first floor, many people didn't rest. Su Liang came to inquire and looked up and down to see that Han Qian was not injured. He breathed a sigh of relief and turned around to leave. He knew that Han Qian had other things to be busy with. Both Lu Guangming and Wang Kai at first floor. Seeing Han Qian, Lu Guangming stepped forward and whispered. Wei Tianquan's daughter had a car accident and he went to the hospital. Ouch, Han Qian couldn't help laughing and said with contempt. Is he really so determined that his own daughter can be used as a tool? Director Lu, what happened today happened at your resort. No one can accept that you are not responsible. However, the question of whether you are responsible or not is up to me. How to talk to the Yeomanman? You should understand what I mean, right? Brother Han, my head has been tied to your waistband for a long time. Just speak. Tell Wei Tiancheng that I am very angry, and he will take care of it himself. Brother Lu, tell me now that Wei Tiancheng and I are at odds, who has a greater chance of winning? Brother Han, that brat from the Lin family and Lu Shenga are keeping an eye on you. Hearing these two people, Han Qian raised his head and sighed. I almost forgot about these two grandsons, hey. Brother Lu, you should go to bed early. When someone comes from the Yeomanman, I will tell you that you are not feeling well and need to rest. Is that Wan Kai? You can stay and be scolded for this matter. It almost has nothing to do with Shun Cheng. Remember to send me the surveillance video and don't skip frames. I will check it for you frame by frame. In a few days, I will personally go to apologize to you. Don't worry about me. Just say a word to my mother-in-law and Director Qian. These two families in the city really care about me. I hope that my son will run to your place for a meal and call you when he becomes sensible. Call me uncle. After saying this, Han Qian took Cai Qinghu to the tea table at the door. As soon as he sat down, the waiter brought tea. Cai Qinghu picked up the teapot and poured tea, and said softly, "This time, you calculated that there would be trouble, but didn't you calculate that it would be a hook?" Han Qian took a sip of tea and nodded gently. The knife wound on Lu Shenge's body was caused by the cooperation of Lin Zongheng, and it almost killed him. I am more biased towards Lu Shenge. I don't have much hope against the cannon. This guy is very timid, so he just plays a little bit. It was a dirty trick. His biggest reliance today was the gun in his hand, but he didn't expect me to have one in my hand. Anyway, it was an expected accident. I didn't expect that nursery rhyme would be here. Cai Qinghu stretched out his hand to smooth Han Qian's frown and said softly, "Aren't you tired of doing the math?" Han Qian nodded and sighed. "It's tiring, but it can't be counted. A lifetime is so long. It's a lifetime of mediocrity and inaction. Like my parents, you can change your way and burn your passion. The latter will make your life full of surprises. When you get old, you can change the way and burn your passion. There is also a memory and a story to tell to the children and grandchildren. Han Qian, how about our child's surname Cai? Okay, huh? What the hell? What's your last name? Cai is a bad surname. The biggest celebrity with the surname Cai in history is the traitorous minister Cai Zheng. You are looking at Han Xin. Why are we studying children? I'll just say it casually. It was almost 3 o'clock until Cheng Jin didn't come over, not even a call. Instead, Zheng Jing ran by, put a file bag on the table, and whispered to Cai Qinghu to write a shooting report. It seemed that Li Jinhai had suppressed the matter, and the shooting report was just a formality. Since it was okay, Han Qian whispered to Cai Qinghu, "Get some rest early. I have something to talk to Tong Yao. Hooking a cannon through the net makes me feel uneasy. From now on, you should leave the gun alone. Set the emergency caller on your mobile phone to me. If you are in danger, call me as soon as possible. Don't be brave. I'm not discussing it with you. I know, sir, you should go to bed early and I'll go write a report." Cai Qinghu got up and went upstairs. Han Qian asked Zheng Jing to borrow his mobile phone and called Tan Jiao. "Come downstairs and let's talk." "I don't want to go, sleepy." "Then I'll go up." "No, I'm going down right now." The performance of the nursery rhymes made Han Qian very uncomfortable. Before that incident, their relationship was very close and casual. Now that they have a relationship, they have become a bit unfamiliar, polite, and distant. What kind of mess is in this monster's head? Tong Yao went downstairs wearing jeans and a cotton padded jacket. When he saw Tong Yao, Han Qian got up and left. He walked out of the hall and walked into the greenhouse not far away. He stood in the distance and looked at the sky. Han Qian said softly, "How are you going to deal with the matter between the two of us? My mother approves of Wen Nuan as her daughter-in-law, but I will work hard to explain the matter between the two of us to Wen Nuan." Tong Yao tilted her head and looked at Han Qian, wondering. "What did you say?" Han Qian turned his head and looked at nursery rhyme with the same confusion. "What do you think I said? I mean the two of us have a relationship, and we have to be responsible for this relationship." After finishing her words, Tong Yao took a step back and Lian waved her hand in rejection. No, 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 wait a minute, Han Qian, have you forgotten what I said? I had sex with you because I didn't want to be a virgin anymore. I'm curious about what the experience was like, but after experiencing it, I feel, you very average. Generally. Generally. Am I humming average? No matter, any man, Even if he is a virgin, he will probably be her 10,000 times. Han Qian's face was full of disbelief. He pointed at his nose and looked at the nursery rhyme and asked seriously. You said, me. Average. Nursery rhyme nodded seriously. Yes, average. There is no happiness at all, so. Han Qian and we have no chance. I don't like you, and you don't like me. I have a relationship with you more because I don't want you to chase me for money. It's all you're an adult, don't think about it so much, let the past pass. I'll give you a humming blowjob. Tanjeo ignored Han Qian and turned around to leave the greenhouse. She had said everything she needed to say, and it was Han Qian's own business to listen or not. Then, Han Qian suffered from insomnia, lying on the bench in the greenhouse and looking at the sky, with two words echoing in his mind. General, 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 S. After the divorce, the ex-wife became a creditor. Author, Ahuan. Chapter 466. Average, average, average. Han Qian was still muttering this sentence when he sat in Wen Nuan's car and left the resort. Wen asked twice, but Han Qian didn't say anything. Tanjeo and Yushisai, who were sitting in the back, were chatting away, as if Han Qian didn't exist. Tanjeo regarded him as heir. Han Qian raised his head to look at Wen Nuan and said softly. I generally. Warmth comforts softly. Not ordinary at all. Who said you are ordinary? Monster. Tong Yao said angrily after being slapped on the head after saying this. You scold me. Han Qian turned around and glared at nursery rhyme. Just scolding you, what? If you don't obey, get out of the car and have a fight. Nuan, stop the car. If your ex-husband doesn't teach you a lesson, you won't know why the flowers are so red. Nursery rhyme was gearing up, and Han Qian was surprised to be scared. He closed his eyes and lay on the passenger side, saying softly. Tanjeo, where do you live now? Go de Peo is still running away. Be careful. There is really no place. I still have a room in my house. Yes, Yao, please stay at my house first. We will live on the second floor and let Han Qian sleep in the guest room. It will be safer this way. Or it could be that Han Qian is rare for warmth. When this girl is being unreasonable, she is with him in private, and is not petty at all when it comes to business matters. She may also find that Tong Yao really dislikes Han Qian. After mentioning Guda Pao, Tanjeo's expression changed, and then he put his arms around Yu Shisai's neck and said with a naive smile. I'm going to protect Shisai. Otherwise Shisai would be too lonely alone. Yu Shisai whispered that she could also move to Han Qian's house. Han Qian was the first to disagree and did not give Yu Shisai a chance to speak again. He told Wen Nuan to send him to the Yamen gate. When they returned, Han Qian told them to put the phone number in his house. The emergency caller is set to him. Don't do anything when encountering hook cannon, just run away. Must run. Sitting in Cheng Jin's office drinking tea, Chang Da went to guard the door outside the office to prevent anyone from disturbing him. Han Qian held the teacup, crossed his legs and whispered softly. Did you not expect it? Sorry, I never expected that someone would protect the cannon. What's the use of keeping this kind of chess piece? Find out who has stopped the surveillance. Cheng Jin took out a box of cigarettes and opened it with a self-deprecating look on his face. Looking at the cigarettes on Cheng Jin's table, Han Qian sneered. What? Are you not honest? I have some of your cigarettes at home, they are not cheap. Cheng Jin lowered his head and lit one and said calmly. It's more expensive than yours. I didn't come through a channel, Han Qian. If it were another person, I would be embarrassed to say this. The police officers risked their lives in the ice and snow to fight with a gangster who didn't want his life. Ha! But their boss doesn't care about their lives. You think it's ridiculous or not, and you can't even imagine who will admit the crime in the end. Han Qian was a little surprised, leaned forward and asked with wide eyes. Who? I thought he was an ordinary thief. The top leader of the city bureau, ha. I never thought that a sick guy like him would do such a thing for a mere 2 million. Han Qian asked in disbelief. Who? The guy who suppressed Li Jinhai for half his life and hung on for his life. Is he sick? Cheng Jin nodded mockingly. He is sick and won't live long. He divorced his wife a month ago, cut off relations with his children, and sold his property. When we caught him, he was about to commit suicide by swallowing a gun. But I don't believe it. I really don't believe it. I can't understand how gloomy such a small city is. Han Qian took a cigarette and lit it, then kicked the remaining cigarette into his pocket, sighed, raised his head and smiled. You thought about it, but you just don't want to believe it. What do you say now? Is this case closed like this? Go Depeo has been designated as a Class A wanted criminal. Glory Group and Shuncheng Group have jointly offered a reward of 1 million. If you provide clues, there is also a reward of 100,000. You can be safer for the time being. After hearing this, Han Qian curled his lips, stood up, walked to the table, bent down and approached Cheng Jin, and whispered. Have you ever thought about one thing? Feng Lun's gun was allegedly brought in by Feng's Haida. In Feng's Haida's words, he was tricked by Feng Lun. Now where is the pistol in Gu Dapao's hand? The dying guy didn't tell Feng Lun Go Dapao's gun? Let me tell you the truth. Feng Lun said that Wei Tiancheng bought the gun and Feng's Haida opened the channel. How many people will be involved in opening this channel? Don't look at Feng's Haida's death. Just follow his communication, we can definitely catch some clues, Lao Cheng. I suggest you send someone to find Wei Tiancheng now, do a routine check to see how he reacts, and tell him by the way that you are investigating Feng's Haida's social circle. Cheng Jin frowned and replied. It works. Try it, I will never let you go back empty-handed, but I guess it won't be of much use, you. Don't pay too much attention to the important government offices in the city. You should also study the government offices at the highway intersection. This is everything I know about Feng Lun for now. I know you don't want to catch Feng Lun now. Get out. You little bastard, get out now. I've been with you for a long time and I don't have any secrets. Han Qian grinned and said softly. I'm going to see Tu Xiao for tea. Don't cause trouble. I know, I'm rude. After Han Qian left, Cheng Jin leaned against each other and cursed with a smile. Little bastard, take me a pack of cigarettes. After saying that, Cheng Jin stood up, walked out and looked at the cigarette in Chengda's hand. He smiled and said softly. Let's go and visit the chairman of Shuncheng Group. The secretary hasn't been armed with a gun for a long time, right? Go find Li Jinhaishan and get a gun first. The strap you had when you were young was pretty good. Well, if you're not afraid of the cold, change it. Just some clothes. The permanent secretary looked at Cheng Jin nervously and said nervously. Mayor, what are you? There's no point in being polite before fighting. Let's come together. You're bullying me because Cheng Jin has a good temper. That afternoon, Mayor Cheng Jin rushed into Huishan Group with his secretary Changda and several special police officers. The special police officers held explosion-proof shields. Secretary Changda was wearing an explosion-proof vest, and his right hand never left the pistol at his waist. Wei Tiancheng hurried back to the company from the hospital in a panic. According to the executives of Huishan Group, the chairman's mobile phone, computer, letters, and express delivery were all checked, and then he took the chairman back to his mansion. The reason is unknown to everyone, but the top management received an order to donate money to the impoverished disaster areas in the city immediately. In addition, Wei Tiancheng increased the bounty on the cannon in his own name. Shuncheng Group was fined 3.7 million yuan. Because only Wei Tiancheng probably knew why, Cheng Jin, who returned to the Yamen gate with a happy face, went directly to see Niu Qiudong. Cai Qinghu sat next to Han Qian and fiddled with her pistol, saying softly. Cheng Jin and Niu Qiudong had a big quarrel. In the end, Niu Qiudong slammed the door and left his office. Cheng Jin slowly came out. They seemed to be at loggerheads after having been harmonious for thousands of days. Han Qian sat on the sofa and ate with his rice bowl in hand, and said vaguely. As expected, let me tell you something. You can judge for yourself. In addition to Cheng Jin, there is an official who can force Feng Haida to death and make the top leader of the city bureau confess. There are only 3 or 5 people inside and outside. Cheng Jin Buletin and Niu Qiudong were quarreling with whom? They had the nerve to take action only after they had a quarrel. Don't you want to eat some? I cooked it myself. Hearing that the meal was cooked by Han Qian, Cai Qinghu stood up and went to serve the meal. When he came back, he held the bowl and tilted his head in confusion. Do you suspect there is something wrong with Niu Qiudong? He is famous for his thrift. Then do you think I'm normal? It's unusual. At your age, there are only a handful of people at your age who started from scratch and became as good as you are, not to mention the city, even the province. But I'm just average. It's just average, I don't care. Cai Qinghu acted very calmly, but Han Qian was angry and said angrily. I am not ordinary. It's not ordinary, it's not ordinary. You are the best, okay. Where are you coaxing the child? After the divorce, the ex-wife became a creditor. Author, Ahuan. Chapter 467. Early in the morning, Han Qian received a call from Qianling and asked how he was doing now. Han Qian vaguely replied that it was okay. He was not injured in the first place and felt very refreshed after a night's sleep. Hearing Han Qian say that it was okay, Qianling said she was relieved, and then Han Qian told Qianling that Lu Guangming might go to her to apologize today, and he would blackmail her if he could. This old grandson had gained a lot of benefits recently. Han Qian washes up and goes to work. A good young man who loves to go to work will not be afraid of the wind and rain. When he went out, he called Tunjao, and then Han Qian almost dropped his phone in anger. Got blocked again. What kind of mess is in this monster's head? After all, monsters are monsters and cannot be easily defeated by humans. Han Qian really wanted to find a mirror to see what kind of monster the nursery rhyme had become. I met Ji Jing at the door of the company. Aunt Ji was still blaming herself for what happened at the resort. She followed Han Qian with her head lowered and apologized. Han Qian closed his eyes and sighed, stopped, and was about to turn around, but at that moment, there was a burst of sound from behind. Full of elasticity and softness, Han Qian couldn't help but let out a soft cry. Is it so flexible? Ji Jing blushed instantly, and her neck turned pink. She covered her chest with her hands and lowered her head. Han Qian turned around and flicked Ji Jing's forehead and laughed softly. Are you still blaming yourself? Okay, just don't lie to me stupidly with used poems and nursery rhymes in the future. Lie to me. I'm not angry with you, but if you lie to me like this and I find out. No, there's more. No more. Come here. Lu Guangming's video has been sent over. At some point, Yan Qingqing appeared next to Han Qian, grabbed Han Qian's ears and dragged him into the elevator, shouting to Ji Jing as he walked. I'll borrow it from your nephew for a while and return it to you when you're done. Ji Jing said without emotion. Walking into Yan Qingqing's office, Empress Yasha hurriedly opened the computer, pointed at the computer and shouted to Han Qian. Is this just a hookup? Han Qian looked at the scene in the video. He was not sure whether he was this guy. The video was very blurry, and it was only taken at night. Judging from the time, it should be the night before the dinner. Then Han Qian asked if anyone else was there. Nothing else. Yan Qingqing found two more videos. One was a video of Gu Dapao walking around in the resort room, and the other was a video of him going to the fire escape and never coming out. This guy's face can already be seen in these two videos. Han Qian pinched his chin and said suspiciously, "Didn't you come in with Wei Tiancheng? Did I blame him wrongly?" Yan Qingqing turned off the video in her hand, turned her chair and looked at Han Qian, and said calmly, "What are you going to do? Even if this matter has nothing to do with Lu Guangming, he can't get rid of it now." While he was talking, Han Qian's cell phone rang. Han Qian pursed his lips at Yan Qingqing and threw the phone to her. The latter pressed the connect button and spoke indifferently. "Director Lu, Han Qian isn't feeling well right now. If anything happens, you can just tell him." "Is it Mr. Yan?" "Well, it's me. Basically, when Nuan won't answer the phone after 9 o'clock in the day and before 6 o'clock in the evening. I watched the video with Han Qian just now. He just muttered whether he wrongly blamed Wei Tiancheng. If Wei Tiancheng hadn't questioned, then, Mr. Lu, you'd better give us an explanation as to why this Go Dapao entered the villa one day early. Mr. Yan, I am really unjust. I can swear on my mother's life that I really don't know how Go Dapao got in, but I am sure that Wei Tiancheng came the day before the party. I just found out about it after passing the resort." "Oh? Director Lu must have something to do with Wei Tiancheng? You want me and Han Qian to go to Wei Tiancheng to help Director Lu clear his grievances? Where is Director Liu's sincerity? Mr. Yan, tell Mr. Han that Mr. Han does not need to take action in this matter. I, Lu Guangming, went to Wei Tiancheng to get an explanation even if I tried my best." Lu Guangming hung up the phone, and Yan Qingqing raised her head and looked at Han Qian, wondering. "Is Lu Guangming so afraid of you? Fear me?" Han Qian sneered, took the mobile phone from Yan Qingqing's hand and dialed a number. The call was connected in seconds. Wu Sijuan, who was awakened by the phone call, sat on the bed, maintaining the most awake state, took a deep breath, and respectfully wrote. "Master Han, you are looking for me. Call Lu Guangming and ask him to have dinner with him tonight. Lu Guangming, he dares to meet me alone. Because I don't dare, that's why I asked you to make this call. You make an appointment first, see what he says, and then tell me." "I see." Han Zhan hung up the phone and Yan Qingqing said again. "Is it Wu Sijuan who has gained quite a reputation in the city recently? Is she yours?" Han Qian shrugged and said calmly. "Partner, he is more afraid of Wu Siquan contacting him than me talking to Lu Guangming. This girl is not simple, she is a mantis." Yan Qingqing frowned. "Got a sickle?" No, she eats men without spitting out their bones. You will never understand how cruel Wu Sijuan is." Within 2 minutes, Wu Sijuan called and told Han Qian that Lu Guangming was almost crying over there and called her aunt. His body could not withstand the torture, so he promised Wu Sijuan to give it to her after he came down from the community. A house, a purpose, begging her to tell Han Qian to give him some time. Wu Siquan's words were clearly heard by Yan Qingqing. She became even more confused. She stood up and pushed Han Qian down on the chair, frowning. "You still say that Lu Guangming is not afraid of you? You are scared to the core. Han Qian, how many things are you hiding from me? In order not to be wronged by you, Lu Guangming is preparing to break up with Wei Tiancheng and pay for it. To please a little guy next to you." Han Qian sighed helplessly. "Wu Siguan is not a little boy, and Lu Guangming is not afraid of me now." Yan Qingqing said nothing and looked at Han Qian without a glance. After about a minute, Han Qian couldn't stand it anymore and raised his hands in surrender. I say, as long as you don't cry, I will say it." There was mist in Lady Yasha's eyes. Who could bear this? Han Qian sighed helplessly. Now my status in the city is quite special. You, Nuan, Tu Xiao and I are very close. You also represent 3 companies. Once Lu Guangming provokes me, his construction site in Dongcheng will stop immediately and the losses will be huge. It's the unclear relationship between me and Feng Lun, and there's another thing. I was the mastermind behind the seizure of Li Dehai's shares. Wu Siguan was an important role, and Lu Guangming assisted. He was afraid that I would deal with him the same way I dealt with Li Dehai. In fact, now it doesn't matter who brought Guda Pao, I just want Wei Tiancheng and Lu Guangming to quarrel so that I can have fun between the 2 of them. Yan Qingqing still didn't speak, and Han Qian closed his eyes and sighed again. Okay, I'll say it. You say. My words yesterday cost Wei Tiancheng nearly 5 million. Do you think Lu Guangming is not afraid of me? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the divorce, the ex-wife became a creditor. Author, Ahuan. Chapter 468. Why? Yan Qingqing didn't understand that Han Qian's words could have such great power. Han Qian reached out and grabbed Han Qingqing's wrist, raised his head and said softly. Cheng Jin suddenly changed his temper. For the first time, he ignored the procrastination of his mother-in-law and immediately dealt with the matter of hooking a cannon to escape surveillance. However, within 24 hours, Cheng Jin suddenly went to investigate Wei Tiancheng with full weapons. Do you think he was afraid? Even so. He has nothing to do with Go De Peo, but could he have something to do with that corrupt official? Will that corrupt official bite him? Wei Tiancheng was afraid. Cheng Jin fined him more than 3 million yuan. Wei Tiancheng dared to say no. He dared to refuse. Cheng Jin has reason to do frequent spot checks, but Wei Tiancheng doesn't dare. Cheng Jin needs merit to fight against Niu Qiudong, so it's not recommended to kill someone by mistake, and Wei Tiancheng really has a problem, do you understand now? Yan Qingqing nodded, turned around and sat on Han Qian's lap, hugged his neck and whispered softly. Lu Guangming won't hold a grudge against you. Han Qian struggled for a while and found that it had no effect, then gave up. He held Yan Qingqing's waist with one hand and chuckled. Hate me? Why does he hate me? Now all the fingers are pointing at Guda Pao. Wei Tiancheng brought him in. He has to vent his anger on Wei Tiancheng. Then what's in it for you? I'm 10% more confident about threatening Wei Tiancheng recently. Why are you sitting on me? Little Yang Jia saw him again later. She doesn't dare to come in. I told her, but you haven't said anything about Wu Siguan yet. She is very powerful. Han Qian smiled and did not explain. Wu Siguan's cruelty was not acceptable to ordinary women. After being in close contact with Yan Qingqing for half an hour, Han Qian was a little distraught. Han Qian didn't want to make any more mistakes, so he tried to escape but was discovered by Yan Qingqing. He deliberately twisted his body. Han Qian blushed instantly, and Yan Qingqing smiled mischievously. Holding Han Qian's face to harm him, Han Qian closed his eyes tremblingly, and when he was about to accept the blessing, his cell phone suddenly rang. Han Qian woke up instantly, put his hands around Yan Qingqing's waist and lifted him off his body, then picked up his mobile phone and answered the call. Tanjeo, have you seen Guda Cannon? No. No. Han Qian. As he spoke, the monster actually had a crying voice. Han Qian became even more anxious, frowning and growling. Say, what's wrong? I need people and money, so don't cry. No, I don't want people and I don't want money. That Lu Shengguo found my phone number somewhere and is begging me to go to the hospital to see him, otherwise I won't do the operation. Wow. I still cried in the end. Han Qian's whole body was shaking with anger, and he gritted his teeth and said with trembling words. Tong, then go and see. I thought something happened to you. Wow, I don't dare. There are 7 or 8 cars downstairs. I see Lushenga is also downstairs. Han Qian, save me. Stop howling. Wait for me at home and I'll pick you up. Okay. A monster is a monster after all, he can cry but he can also hold it back. When Han Qian stood up, he found Yan Qingqing staring at his mobile phone with a murderous look on her face, gritting her teeth and growling. Nurse rhymes. She and I are at odds with each other. Is she sick? Why are Lushengua calling you? Ah. I forgot, I also have to go see Lushengua today. His arm was broken by a hook. You go pick up nursery rhyme, I don't want to see her, I'm afraid I can't help it. What can't you do? Kill the person who ruined my good deeds, or I will take you down today, nursery rhyme, she is really extraordinary. Average. Han Qian, you make me feel normal. These 2 words pierced Han Qian's heart like a sharp knife. Han Qian's face instantly became flattered and he walked out of the office with his head lowered. Child monster, I will beat you to death. This made Han Qian lose his confidence, and he didn't even dare to do that. I'm average. Driving to the downstairs of Yu Shisai's house, he got out of the car and frowned and cursed at Lushenga who was standing outside the car. Yu Diaji, why are you here to embarrass Tanjeo? If you are sick, go to the veterinary clinic opposite the company. Don't go crazy here. There was no reason to be polite to Lushenga, and they were not in the company yet. When Lushenga saw Han Qian throw away the cigarette in his hand, he jumped up and yelled back. Han mad dog, whoever got caught bit him. When did I make things difficult for teacher Tong? She is making things difficult for me. This woman doesn't have food and salt, doesn't want money when I give her, and doesn't listen to her pleas. When the driver got up, 2 of them were held by her with a broom. We were bombarded, if it weren't for my good-for-nothing brother, do you think I would come? To be honest, Tong Yao can really do this, Han Qian looked at Lushenga and said suspiciously. Isn't your brother who sells human beings interested in nursery rhymes? Is he blind? If you say that, I won't be stubborn with you. How can any normal person fall in love with this monster? Han Qian, you are familiar with her. I beg you. You take her to the hospital and fool my brother. I will send her away tomorrow he returns to the capital. Kneel down and kowtow. Seeing Lushenga about to go berserk, Han Qian quickly changed his tune. I won't give you any New Year's money even if you kowtow. You will accompany me to Huishan in the afternoon and be my assistant. If you promise, I will go upstairs to pick up the monster. If you don't agree, I will leave now. Hurry up, Mom. My brother is waiting at the hospital. Han Qian took a deep breath and then shouted to the 6th floor. Child monster. He's downstairs. Within 3 minutes, nursery rhyme, who was wearing denim overalls, exposed half of his head at the unit gate. He glanced around furtively and found Han Qian, then trotted all the way behind Han Qian, grabbing his arm and secretly sizing up these strangers. Han Qian turned around and stuffed nursery rhymes into the passenger seat. When he got into the car, Lushenga sat in the back seat with the female assistant. Han Qian tilted his head and looked at the rearview mirror, wondering. Are you afraid that I will run away? Lushenga replied with raised eyebrows. Otherwise, what do you think? Mad dog Han, you have no credibility in my eyes. Han Qian curled his lips and didn't take these words to heart, but Tong Yao, who was sitting in the passenger seat, was unhappy. He turned around and glared at Lushenga, saying very seriously. You. Get out of the car. Lushenga was slightly stunned and frowned. You asked me to get off the bus? Do you believe that I will make it impossible for you to survive in this city? Oh. Lushenga's female assistant turned around with a cry of nursery rhyme, but then opened the car door. The car had already started. Han Qian hurriedly stepped on the brake. The girl opened the door and walked home, shouting as she walked. I won't go. My impression of Lu Shengyu is that he asked me for 60 yuan for a bottle of mineral water. Whether he operates or not has nothing to do with me. Lu Shengyu was confused now and said in astonishment. Mad Dog Han, what on earth is this nursery rhyme? Han Qian shrugged and chuckled. Don't ask me, I only know that she is really going home. I'll get off the car right away. I will definitely send Lu Shengyu back to the capital. Lu Shengyu found that he had met someone who left him helpless. After living for 30 years, Lu Shengyu thought that he had never met anyone who left him helpless. There was nothing he could do about this child monster. And there will be a woman. Nursery rhyme returned to the car and whispered. He said he would give me 100,000 yuan when I go to the hospital. Remember to ask for it for me. I want to run a school and I am short of money. After the divorce, the ex-wife became a creditor. Author, Ahuan. Chapter 469. There must be something wrong with Lu Shengyu's head. After talking to Tanjio a lot, Tanjio stood by the bed and replied wordlessly. She looked at Han Qian from time to time and signaled him to ask Lu Shengyu for money. Lu Shengyu lying miserably on the bed, Han Qian was really embarrassed to speak. It was almost time, and the doctors and nurses came to the ward to prepare for Lu Shengyu's surgery. This guy was seriously injured, which also let Han Qian know that Go De Peo should not be underestimated. He might be really good at fighting. When the medical staff were about to push Lu Shengyu away, Tong Yao suddenly reached out and grabbed the hospital bed. Everyone was stunned. Lu Shengyu was overjoyed, and then made a generous look and said with difficulty. Yao Yao, don't worry, I will definitely be fine. Tanjio ignored Lu Shengyu. He didn't care whether Tanjio lived or died. He stretched out his fair little hand towards Lu Shengyu. Lu Shengyu closed his eyes and took a deep breath. He gritted his teeth and said helplessly. I won't break my promise to you. No. If you don't give it to me, I won't let it go. This is my card. Lu Shengyu was a little confused listening to the conversation between Tanjio and his brother. Looking at Tanjio's outstretched hand, he said with a trembling voice, unwilling to accept the reality. Yao Yao, you. Tong Yao didn't say anything and looked straight at Lu Shengyu. Lu Shengyu was so angry that she was shaking. She gritted her teeth and nodded to the assistant beside her. Seeing this, Tong Yao threw the bank card to Lu Shengyu's assistant with her other hand. Not long after that, she heard the text message on her cell phone. Tong Yao let go of her hand holding the hospital bed and smiled at Lu Shengyu with her eyes narrowed. Thank you, boss. Lu Shengyu's eyes were full of disbelief. He frowned at the nursery rhyme and said in a low voice. Yao Yao, what are you? Stop. Tong Yao stretched out her palm to Lu Shengyu, pointed her palm towards the other person's face, and spoke hurriedly. Stop, 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 don't be so affectionate. We just met once on the train. Your injury has nothing to do with me, but I'm kind, so I just came here and missed it. Go ahead, and let's not contact each other in the future. No, you are not my type, I only like the rich generation, good luck. Lu Shengyu was pushed away with a pale face. Lu Shengyu pointed at the nursery rhyme and growled. Teacher Tong. As a teacher, can you have some professional ethics? You can ask me for money afterward. What do you want Lu Shengyu to think about asking for money now? Tong Yao snatched the card from the assistant's hand and kicked it into her bag. She raised her head and looked at Lu Shengyu coldly and said calmly. I promised to come over and let your brother have the surgery and I did it. You are thinking of other things in your mind. I did not promise you, and I will not give Lu Shengyu the illusion that I have feelings for him. I am teacher, I can't lie to others, this is my professional ethics. After saying that, Tanjeo walked towards Han Qian, kicked his calf and said angrily. Are you leaving? You drove me to pick it up, and you have to take it back to me. Han Qian raised his legs, extended his thumb to Lu Shengyu, and said with a gloating smile. You are so rich, ha ha ha, let's go, teacher Tong, I will take you home, Lu Diaji, you will be fooled one day, ha 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 ha. Han Qian's whisper was still echoing in the ward. Lu Shengyu gritted his teeth and glared at the two people who left. Then he laughed out loud. The female assistant beside him asked with some confusion. Master Lu, you. Since Jian Huan's death, there is no one or thing in the city that I can miss. I never expected that it would give me such a big surprise after a few years. Well, the rich generation, Han Qian should be considered one of the rich generation, he is divorced, so he is no longer a son-in-law. The assistant didn't know how to answer the call. She had been with Lu Shengyu for a long time, but there used to be Yates in the middle. She could only deal with some trivial matters, and her understanding of Lu Shengyu was only superficial or a little deeper. Lu Shengyu didn't expect her to say anything philosophical, so he stretched and yawned lazily. After all, you are not Yates, and you still don't know me well. Go break up with your boyfriend first. I don't like people showing off their affection in front of me. Book a flight for the second young master and tell him to go back to the capital. Yes. Two orders were agreed to at the same time. She chose to become Lu Shengyu's assistant, and at the same time she also chose the life she had been given. In Paramila's car, Han Qian drove and frowned. Is it time to pay me back now? You already have 100,000 in hand. Nursery rhyme instantly became nervous, hugging the bag in her hand tightly and saying warily. Han Qian, what do you want to do? You can't take this money away. This is the capital I am going to use to start my business. If you need money very much, I will give you half of it. Thank you. You're so generous. Let's not talk about the money. Let's talk about your professional ethics first. Don't lie to others. You didn't lie to me. You are not human. Crunch. The car stopped suddenly in the middle of the road. Han Qian turned his head and glared at Tanjeo. His ferocious look scared Tanjeo back and explained in a low voice. You are not a human being, you are a god. You are electricity, you are light, you are the only myth. I don't love you, you are not my Supo. While singing, the monster unbuckled his seat belt and quickly got out of the car, pushed the door open and sat making faces at Han Qian, sticking out his tongue. You are everything, you are not a human being, bye. Han Qian smiled, squinted his eyes and smiled at Tanjeo. He pointed at the bag on the passenger seat and smiled at Tanjeo. When Tanjeo returned to the car, he raised his head and cried loudly, complaining about God's injustice. If he hadn't met Han Qian, she would not have lost her job. If she had not lost her job, she would not have changed her job. If she had not changed her job, she would not have maxed out her credit card. If she had not maxed out her credit card, she would not have borrowed money from Han Qian. He chanted like a sutra all the way, and finally Han Qian couldn't stand it anymore, so he sent her home all the way. When he got in the car again, he turned on the stereo, and the most dazzling famous song pulled him back, otherwise it would definitely be I Have to Become a Monk. This monster's nagging is so magical. Han Qian and Yan Qingqing missed the time perfectly and drove back to the company. On the way, they received a call from Wei Tiancheng, saying that he wanted to apologize to Han Qian and claimed that he would take responsibility for the matter, good or bad. Han Qian did not agree. What Han Qian has to wait for now is to use the trick to get Lu Guangming and Wei Tiancheng to break up and force Lu Guangming into his camp. This will give Han Qian one more bargaining chip in the city's game. Wei Tiancheng will also have one less helper and even one more enemy. Feng Lun had long told Han Qian that Wei Tiancheng was one of them, and Wei Tiancheng had also admitted that he had a relationship with Feng's Haida. Han Qian had long suspected that Go Depeo was the person he found, but you can't break up with Wei Tiancheng now, you have to isolate him, and then Han Qinzhe will become his only friend. Only in this way can the benefits be huge. After returning to the company, Han Qian went directly to the planning department to find Ji Jing. He hid in Ji Jing's office and enjoyed life, not wanting to go anywhere. What Han Qian wanted to do most right now was to rest, but before he could rest for half an hour, Cai King He called and Wu Qingxi roared on the phone. Han Qian! You don't answer my call. Very surprised. Just wait, I'll find you. I'm at home, come on. Remember to bring a condom. After hanging up the phone, Ji Jing gently patted Han Qian's calf and said angrily. How can you make such a joke with a girl? Han Qian was eating toffee and resting his legs on Ji Jing's legs, nonchalantly. I didn't treat her like a woman. After the divorce, the ex-wife became a creditor. Author, A Huan. Chapter 470. Wu Qingxi caught Han Qian in Ji Jing's office and asked to elaborate on the script. It would be best to restore the battle scene at that time. Han Qian was half lying on the chair and watching the action. Then Wu Qingxi dumped a box of Durex in the with a look on Han Qian's face. He took out his phone and took a photo without waiting for Han Qian to react. How about I send it to Yan Qingqing, Wen Nuan, Yu Shisai and others, and then send it to your mother-in-law? I'm sorry, Minister Ji, for including you in the photo. Han Qian looked at Wu Qingxi while holding Durex, and frowned calmly. You did it on purpose, right? If you pat me, pat me. Why are you patting Aunt Ji? This is the only way to have a deterrent effect. The deterrent effect of you holding Durex alone, well, it's just average. Average again. Han Qian instantly stood up on his chair, pointed at Wu Qingxi and said angrily. You're just an average person. I'll beat you to death for being an average person. You want to know the details, right? Come on, there's a boxing ring in the Glory Gym. Whoever doesn't go will have a grandson. Call grandma. Wu Qingxi seems to be the first woman to have a hard time with Han Qian. The other women, Yan Qingqing, who is slightly stronger, joke with Han Qian in a different way from Wu Qingxi. This big star did not regard Han Qian as a man, and Han Qian really did not regard her as a woman. As he said this, he pushed and shoved him towards the Gym of Glory. Ji Jing was worried that the two people would really fight, and she followed him worriedly. After passing by, Ji Jing was not worried about Wu Qingxi being anxious, she was worried about Han Qian. When he went downstairs, he met a group of guys from the general department who had just eaten. When he saw Han Qian and Wu Qingxi, Suliang asked curiously. Qian, big star, what are you two doing? Why do you look like this? Han Qian replied angrily. Let's fight. Upon hearing that he was about to take action, Suliang frowned and lowered his voice and whispered. You wait for me downstairs, I'll prepare the guy. Talk about fighting. Suliang was late and never absent. Wu Qingxi scolded Han Qian in a cold voice for being shameless and asking for help when fighting with a little girl. After saying this, Suliang felt embarrassed and whispered. Qian, you want to fight with a big star? I advise you not to do it. Han Qian frowned. What is fighting? I'm going to teach her martial arts and train her foundation. Let's go. You have nothing to do. I want you to see how professionals fight with little girls. No, I'm a sparring partner. Suliang raised his eyebrows at Qianwan, who understood and trotted back to the general department. In the boxing ring at the Glory Gym, Wu Qingxi was wearing loose sweatpants and a sports vest while sitting and doing warm-up exercises. Han Qian took off his suit, pulled off his tie and entered the ring. Not long after, many people came to the gym, including Yan Qingqing and Gao Xingxing stood side by side in front of the crowd, pointing at Han Qian and communicating in a low voice. Members of the General Affairs Department did not mind the big deal and printed out a few large characters on A4 paper. "Come on, Han Daxian er." Lu Zhuolong took the lead, while Yang Lan and Ji Jing looked helpless. Han Qian found that little Yang Jia was already holding a medical kit in his hand. Many senior executives also came. They were not here to see Han Qian, but to see him. Wu Qingxi's. Han Qian raised his hand at Wu Qingxi and curled his lips. "There are so many people here, should I save some face for you?" Wu Qingxi sneered and shook her head. "No, it's not shameful for me to lose to you. King Hu told me that Toad was beaten half to death by you, so don't be polite to me." After saying this, he threw the gloves and helmet to Han Qian. Han Qian waved the gloves away and curled his lips. "If I fight a little girl like you, I won't need protective gear. It's embarrassing." While the two were talking, Lu Shengge came over after hearing the sound. Looking at Han Qian on the stage, Lu Shengge smiled and said softly, "Han Qian, you are more of an embarrassment to us than glory. Pour the tea. It needs to be hot." Han Qian was full of himself. There were 30 or 40 people watching in the gym. There was a woman standing by the bed looking out the window. She didn't care about what was going on in the ring. She could only sigh and she would not be beaten for a day. "Will it itch?" On the ring, Han Qian hooked his hands at Wu Qingxi and said contemptuously, "At that time, I hooked Toad like this. He was impressed by my domineering power, killed Daniel and then knocked himself unconscious." "Ah!" Wu Qingxi made a cold sound, and rushed towards Han Qian with her light body. She also hit Han Qian's face with her fist without gloves. Han Qian tilted his head and dodged. Then he didn't know what happened, but he felt his body shake. Qing was thrown out and fell heavily on the ring. Everyone in the audience was surprised. No one expected that the little girl Wu Qingxi could have such strong explosive power. Only then did the audience discover the muscles on the female star's body. The embarrassed Han Qian stood up and whispered, "I'll let you go once, I won't let you go anymore." As soon as she finished speaking, Wu Qingxi's fists came like raindrops. Han Qian's arms turned into shields. Every punch hit his forearm, making Han Qian feel pain. Both the speed and intensity were unexpected. Han Qian step by step, he stepped back. Seeing that he was pushed to the side rope, he waved away Wu Qingxi's fist and punched quickly. This time, Han Qian showed no mercy. Yan Qingqing frowned and whispered, "Did Han Qian's punch hit harder?" Before she finished speaking, Wu Qingxi had already turned around while dodging the fist. The unfinished over-the-shoulder fall that day was perfectly presented in front of everyone today. Han Qian was thrown to pieces. When Wu Qingxi got up, already appeared in front of him, standing face to face, Wu Qingxi stretched out her hands to wrap around Han Qian's waist, and the two of them were close to each other. At this moment, Han Qian did not dare to enjoy the pleasure brought by Mian Mioman's body. Frontal German throw. Han Qian was completely stunned, and everyone under the ring was also stunned. Wu Qingxi's performance was too strong. Wu Qingxi can film some martial arts scenes, and it is said that she does not need a substitute, but those are all acting, and no one knows how to do it. Qingxi really knows some sanda and wrestling skills. At this time, Qianwan had no face to look at it, hid the plus character in her hand behind her back, and shouted softly, "Brother, why don't we give up and stop being embarrassed?" "Shut up." Han Qian stood up with a low voice. He was shocked and Wu Qingxi hooked her hand at Han Qian. "Do you want me to give you a hand?" Han Qian ignored Wu Qingxi, bent over and gasped, then quickly rushed towards Wu Qingxi, aiming his fist at her lower abdomen, and punched Wu Qingxi's palm. He quickly raised his knees, but Wu Qingxi stepped on her knee and kicked her back. When Wu Qingxi grabbed Han Qian's hand and was about to throw her over her shoulder again, Han Qian stretched out his hand and grabbed Wu Qingxi's waistband. In Wu Qingxi's stunned moment, a German back throw was given to Wu Qingxi. Hearing the muffled sound of landing behind him, Han Qian was about to breathe a sigh of relief when a burst of cheers came from the bottom of the ring. Wu Qingxi's mid-air backflip was simply perfect. Han Qian knew that something was not going well. Before he could turn around, Wu Qingxi's arms already hugged his waist. German back toss. This time Han Qian was hit hard. He was confused when he got up. He was also completely angry. I am joking with you, are you serious with me? Han Qian untied his tie and threw it off the ring, unbuttoned his sleeves and took off his shirt. The 2 gunshot wounds on his shoulders were shocking. At this moment, Cai Qinghu, who had never gone to the ring, spoke. You two are almost done. Little carrot, don't take advantage of me and act like a good boy. My husband doesn't know wrestling. If he gets kicked away when you rush towards him under the ring, my husband, stop playing too. I've knocked you down a few times, that's fine, it will make you feel better. Wu Qingxi dropped her arms, shrugged and sighed. Isn't this because I'm worried that he will be caught in the shadow and want to let him vent? Who would have thought that he is so stupid, Han Qian? I will let you go, otherwise you would have already fallen down when I stepped on your knee just now. I won't play anymore. Wu Qingxi got off the ring, Han Qian frowned at Cai Qinghu, and after a long time, his eyes fell on Lu Shenga. Director Lu, 2 moves. Lu Shenga stood up, took off his suit, and smiled. I joined some clubs in college and won the city judo championship. Are you sure? Not sure, what the hell? I just didn't have money when I was young, otherwise I would have learned it. Han Qian sat on the ring and was sulking. Ji Jing walked up to the ring and looked at Han Qian's red back and whispered. I heard that Wu Qingxi threw assistant Yu so hard that she couldn't stand up for a long time in Mr. Yan's office. After hearing this, Han Qian slapped his forehead. Zuko, I forgot about this. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the divorce, the ex-wife became a creditor. Author, Ahuan. Chapter 471. The furniture mall officially opened on March 15. Han Qian went to the scene to observe the situation of the mall. 70% of the shops in the corridor from the first floor to the second floor of the mall have been rented out. After the shops put samples on the shelves, the overall quality of the mall it feels much improved. It has to be said that the designs of high-end brands are different. These merchants have also made small plans. Former customers come to the new store to sign orders and receive discounts. Fenghua Decoration is also bringing customers into the mall. Yang Lan and Han Qian visited the mall and asked the merchants about their needs for the mall for later rectification. During the visit, Han Qian heard some prices for orders, which surprised him. A set of custom cabinets easily costs 20,000. A set of ceramic tiles in the bathroom costs RMB 40,000 to RMB 50,000. And it's just tiles. A solid wood tatami costs more than 10,000. Knowing that the profits from building materials were huge, he didn't expect that it would be so much more than expected. Han Qian spoke in a low voice. Sister Yang, the profit of this thing is a bit high. Why do I feel like they can make half of it? Yang Lan, who was dressed in white, replied softly. I know a little about building materials. If you are an agent of a brand, you can make a good profit, not too much. The cabinet store just now made about 200,000 to 300,000 yuan a year, excluding the rent. The local factories make the most. For merchants, the profit can be nearly 50%. 10,000 to make 5,000. I think every house has a designer. This stuff sounds pretty high-end. 1% of designers can earn 3 to 5,000 a month. Don't be envious. I haven't been paid for more than half a year. Who told you not to work hard? I'm going to talk about renting out the entire top floor. When he was busy, Han Qian was like a donkey with a blindfold on, never stopping for a moment. When he was free, everyone treated him like a child. They coaxed him as much as they could, gave in as much as they could, and just followed the donkey. The temper should be smoothed over, and if the hair is choked, the child will be kicked. Han Qian walked down the stairs and met his mother-in-law and his family of 3 as soon as he reached the door. Han Qian lost the seriousness on his face and trotted all the way to the line, trying to please his mother-in-law. "Mom, why are you here?" Li Jinhe patted his son-in-law's shoulder lightly and scolded him softly. "Why are you so anxious? I'm not an old lady who can't walk. I've known for a long time that you are the mastermind of this shopping mall. I came here to take a look at it when it opens today. It feels pretty good and very clean." Han Qian and Han Han scratched their heads and laughed. Starting at 9 o'clock in the morning, the property cleaners will start mopping the floor and cleaning the floor. I think they are the ones who sit on small cars and mop the floor, so the property manager is required to clean the floor once in the morning and once in the afternoon. Overall hygiene is the biggest advantage of this shopping mall. How is the rental situation of the store? Rent one less, and it is expected that there will be about the same number of people who can move in 2 months. The ones in remote locations can be rented cheaply to shops that need to expand. The annual income from the house and advertising fees is 3 million. My plan is considered a success. I feel temporarily not bad. Mom, do you want to go shopping? Li Jinhe nodded. Get ready to see. You two can't keep renting a house. I sold the one you lived in before. Not to mention the distance, there are no schools around. It will be more difficult for children to go to school in the future. I also heard Nuan said that he wanted to marry his parents-in-law. Take it, your dad and I have nothing to do recently to look at the house and the building materials. You go and get busy. Han Qian sent his mother-in-law down the stairs. He didn't dare to say anything to her mother-in-law. Han Qian didn't want her to buy a house. If he said this, he would definitely be beaten. Watching his mother-in-law and his father-in-law go downstairs, Han Qian grabbed Wen Nuan's arm and whispered. "Why are you going down? Aren't you going to accompany me?" Wen Nuan shook off Han Qian's hand and ran downstairs, shouting as he ran. "Why should I accompany you? Go and have some fun by yourself. I want to choose building materials. I want to be a designer." Too playful. Originally, she was thinking of having lunch with Wen Nuan, but she couldn't bear to eat expensive food, so she wanted to have something good with Wen Nuan. However, this girl was only thinking about decoration now and completely forgot about Han Qian. Seeing Wen Nuan, who had reached the square on the first floor, Han Qian shouted. "Go home for dinner at the party or go to Mom's place. Go home and eat. There's food in the refrigerator. Bye. Aren't you busy at work? Don't be nagging." Nuan ran away, and Han Qian sighed. As soon as he turned around and saw Wu Sijuan and Yates standing behind him, Wu Sijuan shouted softly. "Are you busy at work?" Yates said immediately. "Don't be nagging." The two women were joking about Han Qian. Han Qian closed his eyes and sighed, opening his arms. "Come on, I'll beat you two to death. You two have nothing to do now, right?" Wu Siquan stretched out his finger and shook it at Han Qian, closed his eyes and clicked his tongue. No, Yates and I are here to do some business. Isn't your fourth floor rented out yet? I'm going to rent half of it, and I'm thinking of asking our Han Daxian if he can give me some discount." Han Qian pointed to the service desk in the distance. The three of them walked and talked. Han Qian said softly. "Want to invest?" Wu Siquan replied with a smile. "You can't let go of money when you have it. I don't like the interest on depositing it in the bank. I happen to have such a smart person like Yates around me. Wouldn't it be a waste if I don't use it? Right, Yates? Yates, a young mature woman, ignored Wu Siquan and stared sideways at the shopping mall's passenger flow and decoration. Wu Siquan ignored Yates, leaned forward slightly, and asked in a low voice. Master Han, I heard that you were beaten to a pulp by a woman a few days ago. Is it true? When this matter was mentioned, Han Qian became angry. When he was thinking about revenge, Wu Qingxi suddenly returned to the capital, and the chance of revenge was gone. Han Qian looked sideways at Wu Siquan and frowned. If you don't open the pot, pick up the pot. Go, 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 you two go talk to Yang Lan. Hey, how about I sign you up for a class? I'll pay for the tuition, I have it now. Before she finished speaking, Han Qian put his hand on her head. He looked at the customers coming in and out of the main entrance and said softly. People should be selfish. Your money is earned by your efforts, and I also get my share of it. You don't owe me anything, and don't spend money on me. If you have the money, you can buy some ribs. Wouldn't it be delicious if we went back and stewed it with Yates? Besides, I was beaten by Wu Qingxi because of an accident. Let's go. You two have fun. Han Qian left and disappeared into the crowd. Yates turned his head and looked at the direction where Han Qian disappeared and said softly. What kind of person is Han Qian? Why do he look like a fool sometimes? Wu Siquan sighed and shook his head. I don't know, I only know that she is very good to me. No matter from any angle, he is very good to me. Okay. It's time for the two of us to get down to business, otherwise Wanfang will nag us. I took her to play. Are you going to eat pork ribs tonight? I'll call and ask Wanfang. Wu Siquan needs a woman like Yates to handle her big and small matters. After the divorce, the ex-wife became a creditor. Author, Ahuan. Chapter 472. Han Qian Han Qian Han Qian Han Qian Han Qian. Han Qian, who had just finished eating and was washing the dishes, heard Nuan's series of screams. He sighed and exposed half of his body at the kitchen door, wondering. What happened again? I want to eat jujubes, the really crisp ones. I think you look like a jujube. You are washing the dishes. Don't make any trouble. Han Qian went back to wash the dishes, and then Nuan started screaming again, and then Han Qian grabbed him into the kitchen, handed Nuan his gloves, and whispered. Do the washing up. Nuan pinched the rubber gloves with 2 fingers and whispered. Then what are you doing? Clean the dishes you washed. Oh. We cooperated again after many days. This time when Nuan was very quiet. He lowered his head and washed the dishes carefully. Han Qian took a rag and wiped the washed dishes clean. Inside the disinfection cabinet that when bought in the house, Han Qian gradually discovered that the dishes were there started to be more water in it, and then the foam was not rinsed away. Han Qian could accept all this. When Nuan handed Han Qian the unwashed bowl, Han Qian turned his head. Do you think you can get away with it, or do you think I'm blind? I want to eat jujubes. Nuan glared at Han Qian with his mouth bulging. His smiling face was not lethal, but rather cute. Han Qian raised his hand and poked Nuan's face with a wry smile, and said with a wry smile. Little ancestor, spring has not passed yet. Where can I get you some crispy jujubes? There are some stones downstairs. Can I pick up 2 for you? When Nuan was furious, grabbed Han Qian's face with rubber gloves, and said angrily. Shi Taozi, I think you look like a stoner. Only ostriches eat Shi Taozi. Han Qian grabbed Nuan's wrist, leaned back and said eagerly. Water, 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 it's all water, don't make trouble. Don't you like to watch that Korean drama? I'll make delicious food for you later. You can exercise and digest it first. Nuan stopped what he was doing, looked at Han Qian with a cold face, and said in a low voice. Are you trying to make me fat? Huh. Be fat and healthy. And then you make me unable to get married. Why don't you still want to get married? The war broke out again, and no one could save the brain of an intermittent straight man like Han Qian. In the end, Nuan was so angry that he had to take Han Qian to the hospital to treat his brain. Han Qian is ill and needs to be cured. It was unclear who won and who lost in the kitchen. I only knew that Nuan wiped his mouth and held his head high when he walked out of the kitchen. In the kitchen, Han Qian wore an apron and continued to wash the dishes. There was no third person in the family, and no one knew what happened. Dinner at 6:30. At 11 o'clock in the evening, Nuan was sitting on the sofa watching Korean dramas, with runny noses and tears. Han Qian, who had never watched Korean dramas, was also a little sad. Although the plot was a bit nonsense, there were very few descriptions of love in this drama. Mostly the emotions between mother and daughter. The actors' acting skills were all very good and could touch people's hearts. Han Qian put his hands on his knees and sighed. Hey! I don't want to watch anymore. I don't want to cry. Nuan, who had already burst into tears, was choking on a tissue and said softly. Husband. As a woman, Nuan, as a daughter, is more likely to be moved by the plot. Han Qian turned around and prepared to comfort Nuan, but the girl's words made Han Qian give up the idea. I'm hungry. Damn it, what the hell is this? Can you still be hungry at this time? But still have to cook. Before Han Qian could use the knife, when Nuan started crying in the living room, crying and complaining that he was hungry. Han Qian was so angry that his blood pressure was a little high. He moved the electric frying pan to the coffee table in the living room in a fit of anger, and then took all the ingredients at once. Go to the living room. Put down the cutting board and open the window. Pick up 2 fresh shrimps, cut their backs, mince the garlic and put them on the frying pan. Take out the ice cubes and put them in the cup, fill them with Sprite. Putting the drink on the small wooden box in front of Wen Nuan, and then placing 2 open-backed shrimps on the plate and on the wooden box, Han Qian started to prepare the next dish and whispered. You eat first. Block your mouth, watch TV, and don't talk. It would be great if Wen was so obedient. Watching Han Qian cut off the octopus legs one by one, Wen picked up the shrimp and put it into his mouth, mumbling. Why did you start cooking seafood? It's not that you don't like it. I can accept death. I just can't see their process from life to death. Now this is okay. After all, I didn't kill them. Nuan did not continue talking on this topic. She was worried that Han Qian would suddenly drop his pick and run away. He was eating shrimps, watching TV, and drinking drinks. After drinking the cold drink, Nuan couldn't help but clenched his fists and closed his eyes and said, Ha sound. The movements are cute and the sound is nice. The 2 shrimps were quickly filled with warmth. At this time, several small octopus balls made by Han Qian were also completed. They were topped with seaweed and sauce. The 4 small balls were very appetizing. Han Qian also drank the glass of Sprite. Filled up and placed on the table again. Nuan sighed and said softly. Han Qian, why do you think this heroine can't understand that she is alive because her mother prayed to God every day for 5 years, rain or shine, but after she was resurrected, all she could see was her daughter? Why didn't she spend more time with her mother? Han Qian smiled and handed the small fork of instant noodles to Wen Nuan and said with a slight smile. You don't have children now, so you can't understand a heroine's heart. Once a woman has her own children, she will put her children first in her life. Of course, there is something different in this. Wen Nuan ate a small meatball with some understanding and said softly. Are you asking me to experience the feeling of an izakaya? Do it while eating. I don't know what an izakaya is, and I know I can shut your mouth now. Han Qian, you said that after a woman has a child, she only cares about the child, right? Yeah, almost. Then let Yan Qingqing have a child, so that she won't pester you. As soon as these words came out, Han Qian almost threw the knife away, raised his head and looked at Wen Nuan with disbelief, and frowned. Is this what a 26-7-year-old girl should say? If I let Yan Qingqing have a child, I will be the father and she will be the mother. What about you? It's better if you don't marry her. At worst, I'll pay for the living expenses. Stop eating. I won't do it either. Chatting with you will make me mad to death. Han Qian stood up and started to clean up. He didn't do much, but he had a lot to do. After packing up, Wen Nuan also ate all the meatballs. He stood up and patted his belly. Han Qian pouted. You look like that sea lion asking the keeper for fish. I'm happy to. I'll take a shower and go to bed. I'll go to accompany my mother tomorrow. Han Qian and I bought a house for my mother in the suburbs. Let's drive. If there's no traffic jam, we'll be there in 20 minutes. Let's give the house away. You discuss this matter with Mom, I don't care. Just telling you. It was almost 1 o'clock when he finished his busy work. Han Qian's eyelids were so sleepy that he went to bed. As soon as he closed his eyes to feel warm, he rushed in, holding a mobile phone in his hand to play a video. Han Qian. You said I am a sea lion. In the video, a fat sea lion was patting its belly and begging for fish from the keeper. Han Qian no longer had the energy to refute and closed his eyes to sleep. Sleep in seconds.